There we are. Second try this morning, and had mic problems on the last one. Don't know why. I get these from time to time, and the only real solution is to stop and start again. So there we are. Let's see if I pick up some live people at the moment. So it's Kevin Wright here, Property Finance Q&A, and we'll crack on. There we are. So yes, better. Can't explain why. I've done that. All I've done is just log out and log back in again. So there we are. All create a new broadcast. The mysteries of technology. There we are. So here we are. Slightly past 8:30 on a Monday morning now, due to a little sound issue. And so this is the Monday morning Property Finance Q&A. And what we do is you pop some questions into the chat box to do with property finance, anything you want to know, and I'll then just answer them. And works pretty well. Do it most Mondays. Say apart from bank holidays and my holidays, jump on here normally for about 30 minutes, sometimes a bit longer, depending on how many questions I get. So it's your opportunity to get some answers, and then you can watch it live, as some people are doing it now, and you can watch a replay. So wherever you're watching it from, the replay is available, and so you can watch it, because not everyone's available to sit and watch me at 8:30 on a Monday morning. People have other things to do in life. So if you can't watch live, watch the replay. And if you are watching the replay, just put a hashtag replay in there so that I know you're watching the replay. And however you're watching, thanks for turning up. And several good mornings there. So good morning to all those people. Matt says, been a while, hope all is well. It is well, Matt, thank you. Everything is good. Shania there with a good morning. There we are. And Tracy and Hemi and Aston and other people. So anyway, nice saying hello, but that's not why we're here, is it? We're here to sort of do a Q&A. So I did my last I did a BRR summit, by Refurb Refinance Summit. It's my one-day event. Did that in Leeds on yesterday. Had a bunch of people there. Tracy was there actually, who said, good morning, nice to meet you and your partner. And for Buy Refurb Refinance Summits, that's it now. I'm done until September. Not doing any more then, and I'll be doing 4 across September and October. And that's me done for the year then. I don't do a lot of these events. I just do a few here and a few there. But it was good to get out and meet people. Again, it's bit of a novelty, isn't it? Now you never thought it would be so such a rarefied experience to be able to go and talk to people face to face in a room. But there we are. The last 18 months has changed a lot of things, hasn't it? So we've got a few questions coming in here now, so we're going to deal with those. And hey, if you're watching this, got a question, pop it in the chat box, and then I'll answer it, and I'll hang around until I've answered all of them. And so here we are. Here's the first one today. So this is from a Facebook user. Though this is Facebook's way of keeping you keeping your identity secure, because you have to give permission for Facebook to show your identity, and if it doesn't, it comes up as Facebook user, and I just pick up who it is when I go through the questions later today. So, advice to any who want to find SA, service accommodation, as a beginner. Okay. So I presume you're talking about owning an SA, not just doing a rent to rent on an SA. You can clarify that for me if you want. Yep. So advice: make sure there's a demand. So if you want people to stay a night here, a night there, or longer, make sure that wherever you're looking for a property, there's a demand for it. No point probably not. Well, no point doing it in where there isn't demand. So you got to look at demand really. Finance not so easy if you're a beginner. You'll definitely need to already own a property, either one you live in or you rent out, because you won't find the very few mortgage lenders that deal with first-time borrowers willing to let you use an SA. So it depends whether you're, if you don't own any property now, then you won't be able to get an SA mortgage. That's a fact. If you do own a property, then you will be able to get an SA mortgage, but from a restricted number of lenders. You can't use a standard buy-to-let lender because they have a clause that says minimum rental term 6 months, which of course you would be in a flagrant breach if you did SA. So I think those are the main points to look out for there. Thanks for your question. There we are. Okay, who's next? Got Hemi. Can I get bridging for a refurbishment project? What is the LTV, please? What is the interest rate? Yes, you can do a refurb bridge, Hemi, and refurb bridges lend 70%, typically 70, possibly 75% purchase price, and 100% of the refurb cost. Not all bridges do them. In fact, most bridges don't do them. But there's a bunch that do, and we know who they are because we broker them. Interest rate, well, there's no set interest rate for any bridging loan. It's all based on perceived risk. But on refurb bridges, it won't be as much as 1%, but it'll be close to 1%. So it will be a bit below 1% per month. Let me see if I've got a video on refurb bridges. I might have done that recently. If it is, I'll put it in there. Let's see. Yeah. Here we are. There's a couple of ones here. So this might do. Just going to cut and paste this. Pop this in the chat box for you. There we are. Great. So just pop that in there. Hang on a minute. Have we just shut the video off? Don't want that playing in the background. There we are. So there's a video to watch, Hemi. So just watch that. It's one off of my YouTube channel. You're coming through YouTube, so I'm guessing you on there. And actually, let me give you a link. So for you or anyone else that hasn't found my YouTube channel yet, I'm going to give you the link here now. Got over 100 videos in there now. So there's all about property finance, loads of stuff there to keep you interested. There we are. So thanks for your question. So Helen, there we are. Thanks for showing up. Good morning. How can I secure any finance for a refurb, not a mortgage for the refurb itself? Well, you could secure it privately. So you could borrow money privately if you can find someone prepared to lend you the money for the refurb. It would depend on the finance you've got already. So have you bought the property for cash, or have you got a mortgage on it? And if you've got a mortgage on it, to what loan to value have you got a mortgage on there? Because the higher it is, the less room for maneuver you've got. So you could, again, how much is the refurb? If it's less than 25,000, you could apply for an unsecured personal loan and get approved in 24 hours. You do it that way. If you've got sufficient equity in the property, probably a closing approaching 50%, you could apply for a second charge bridging loan. So need a bit more detail to give you more accurate guidance on there, Helen, but thanks for your question. Feel free to come back with some more stuff. Okie doke, moving on. Kay Khan, morning. Can you use bridging finance on a let to buy? Okay, now let to buy. I'm not quite sure if let to buy is what you mean, because a let to buy mortgage is on a property you already own. So a let to buy mortgage is on your main residence that you've been living in, but now don't want to live in because you're going to move out, keep the property, rent that out, and buy a new main residence. Not quite sure that's what you mean there. So can't see why you would use bridging on a let to buy. Maybe you mean a buy to let. The new property is in poor condition and very poor condition and needs refurbishment. There's a possibility of an extension and loft conversion. Yep. Well, leaving aside the let to buy bit, properties in very poor condition that need refurbishment, that's exactly what bridging finance is for. You know, it's perfect for those type of properties. So absolutely yes. And would you like us to broker it for you? Because we'd be very happy to. If you do, ping me a message. Easiest way to ping me a message. Let me give you my Facebook page. Let's just find that for you. There we are. Kevin Wright, my page, Kevin Wright, property finance expert. Let's pop that back in there. There we are. So just pop that in the chat box there. So just ping a message. I check that mailbox in there every day. So if you want us to help you, love to. Great. Okay, there we are. Odysseus, there we are. Morning. I'd like to do a BRR deal, buy, refurb, refinance. Good. Yeah. We like to broker those deals, but with a standard buy-to-let mortgage. Understand the rules, therefore, I understand the rules, therefore, I would be able to refinance after 2 years, the fixed period. Would that be okay? Yeah, that would be okay. Yep. Because you're taking out a mortgage, you're keeping it the 2 years for the fixed period, and then you're free to refinance with no redemption penalty after that. Perfectly okay, just very, very slow. So if you want to build a portfolio and you can only buy one property every 2 years, you're going to, by 2031, 10 years from now, you'd have bought 5 properties. Maybe that's enough for you. Most people would want greater acceleration than that. But based purely on what you've asked, is that okay? Yes. Mike, there we are. Good to see you. So Mike's been doing some of my advanced training on the Ninja Investor Program. And so good to see you popping up with a question. Can I have 2 bridges at the same time? They will be for different properties. Absolutely, you can. Bridges, there's literally dozens of bridging lenders. And so most of them would lend to you at any given time. So you can have 2 bridges, you can have more than 2 bridges. Yeah. You can have as many bridges as cash as you got to go around as deposits. There we are. So we're cracking on through them today, making sure I don't miss anyone out. There we are. Jason. There we are. Morning, Jason. Great show as usual. I'm glad you think so. Thank you very much. Due to COVID, we had to move back into one of our buy-to-lets, which was our former main residence. We rented out our 2 properties to fund renting a farm, our buy-to-let mortgage. I think there could be more to come on that. Okay. Now, just for anyone else that's watching this, that you shouldn't be doing this. So you shouldn't be moving into a buy-to-let because you have now breached the terms and conditions of buy-to-let mortgages. So any buy-to-let mortgage prohibits the borrower living in the property. So that's a breach of conditions. Regardless of whether you've done it or not, for anyone else there, hey, don't be doing this. It's a breach. I'm not sure whether you're going to come back with a more on that. It looks like you run out halfway through. I think there's limited text you've got available there, so that might be the reason why. So let's scroll down and see what else crops up. Oh, here we are. There's some more stuff coming down here now. Okay. Just making sure I don't miss anyone. Okay. The company said it's okay. Okay, so you sought the lender's approval. Well done. And not all lenders are going to agree to this, but yours has. Good. We now want to remortgage or refinance both properties on a buy-to-let to release equity to buy a new residential purchase. How should we handle the fact that we're living in one? Okay, so the one you're now living in is a let to buy mortgage. Talked about let to buys just now in the previous question. So we can broker this for you, Jason. Again, just pop your details into my Kevin Wright Property Finance Expert Facebook page. I'll check the inbox later, and we can broker both of these for you. You have a let to buy mortgage on the one you live in, and a buy to let mortgage on the other one to release equity. So yeah, that's how you do it. We can handle that. Good. Okay, so Kay Khan's come back with the same question. Already answered that. I think there's more to come later. Can you use bridge on a let to buy project? Yeah, well, we've talked about let to buy, and I think you're using the wrong terminology there, but that's okay. You know, we're brokers, you're not, so we know the terminology. You may get it wrong sometime. Don't mind that. Perfectly acceptable. But yeah, refurbishment with heavy refurb, as that would be called, with extension and loft conversion. Yep, bridging's tailor-made for that. Right, so yep, so we bit by bit, Jason, we picked up the messages, didn't we? Yeah, so yeah, we can do that. We can do that. So want us to broker that for you? Get in touch, ping me a message. Okay, so Kay Khan's back with the next thing. New property is worth about 400,000. Home property has equity of 150. So again, you can get 70% of the purchase price, 100% of the refurb cost on this 400,000 property. So you're going to need to come up with about 100 grand. Now, if you're saying, and I'm not sure if this is the question, but let's run on that. If you're saying, can you use your 150,000 equity in your home to fund this property? The answer is probably not, because if you're going to use cross collateral bridging, they only lend up to 65% equity. So there's 35% of the value of a property they won't lend on. So the probability is that you're not going to be able to use the equity in there. But again, you know, respond to me privately if you want, or put it on here if you're happy to post on here. Now, value of your home property and the mortgage you've got on it. So it's not the equity you've got in your property, it's the equity as a percentage of the value of your property that determines whether you can use it or not. Good. So I'm getting a clearer idea of what you're looking for now. Thank you. Mark, morning. It says, morning, Kev. Morning, Mark. What type of mortgage can I utilise to live in main residence while letting out 2 rooms? Well, so that's a main residence mortgage, and letting out the 2 rooms, you'd have a lodgers. So you'd have a lodgers license, and pretty much most main residence lenders allow you to let out rooms up to 2 lodgers. So perfectly fine. Main residence mortgage, very simple. Will affordability be determined solely by my income, or will the rental income also be considered? Okay, the lodger's income is unlikely to be considered simply because they're staying there on a temporary or semi-permanent basis. If you're having a 20-year mortgage or 25-year mortgage, lenders wouldn't expect you to have a lodger there for that period of time, even if it's different lodgers. So, you know, if we searched around, we might be able to find a lender that would do that, but the likelihood is no. Here we are, Craig. Thanks for a great day yesterday on the BRR Summit. Yes, Craig was with me in Leeds yesterday. It was nice to meet you, Craig. So yeah, so it was a good day, wasn't it? Yeah, I enjoyed it. Here we are. So scrolling down again. Here we are. So Peter pops up fairly regularly on these Q&As, and it's always nice to see you, Peter. Hope you're well today. I am. Yes, thank you. When you say shrink the deposit when a market value bridge is used, is the deposit shrink 10% of the maximum new value? Planning consent and lease in place and before completion with the bridge. Okay, So, no, the deposit isn't shrunk based on any new value. It's based on the current value, Peter. Bridgers lend on the current value, not some future value. Now, if you've got planning consent already granted, then that would be a contributory factor to the current value. Now, when you say you've got a lease in place, not quite sure what that means. Is it a commercial property and you've got a commercial lease in place? Okay, so if you have, it's not going to affect the bridging, because bridging lends on the value of the property, not the tenancy agreement that you've got on the property. So if you want more clarity on that, just ask. Thanks. There we are. Mike says thanks. You're very welcome. There's Danny. Danny, one of my students on my Ninja Investor program, my advanced level training. Action taker supreme. Hats off to you, Danny, because you've got a great refurb project going on there at the moment. Heavy refurb project. I think it's going to be a cracker. It's good to see you tuning in. Altaf, there we are. What percentage deposit is required for a commercial property bridge? Is the criteria for the bridge any different to a commercial property? Okay, so typically 30 to 35% is the deposit required for a commercial property bridge. Altaf, that's when you're using a purchase bridge. Now, of course, you could use a market value bridge, and they would still want 30 to 35%, but of the value, not the purchase price. If you've been watching my stuff, you'll know the difference between a market value bridge and a purchase bridge. Is the criteria for a bridge any different to a residential property? It is really, because not so many lenders like commercial. So your range of bridging lenders to choose from is smaller, and rates going to be marginally higher. So yeah, typically 30, 35% is what you need. Hope that helps. Yeah. So Peter says it's commercial. Yeah, I thought it might be, Peter. So yeah, planning consent would already be part of the current value. The lease in place has no effect whatsoever on the bridging loan. Good. Jason M, different Jason now. Jason M, is it possible to get a buy to let on a minimo? So that's a multi-let property that doesn't need full HMO status. So typically you'd have 2, 3, or possibly 4 tenants. And if that's the case, yes, but not with every buy-to-let lender. Most buy-to-let lenders have a stipulation in their T&Cs that says a single AST usage only. There's a few, not many, handful, maybe a bit more, that say, yep, we're okay with that. We'll underwrite it and lend based on a single AST rental income, but we'll allow you to have, in some cases, up to 4 separate ASTs. So yeah, it is possible. So there we are, guys. I said I'll hang around for about 30 minutes, more if the questions are there, but we've done all the questions. So, and it's almost coming up to 9 o'clock. So I know I was a bit late starting because of sound issues, but there we are. That's me for today. Now, normally when I'm about to sign off, someone sneaks in with a last minute question, and then I'll stay and answer it. And so if you've got a last minute question, better hurry up, because I'm just about to go. But of course, I'll be back in a week's time. I'll be back next Monday at 8:30 in all the same channels, through Facebook and through YouTube. So nice little quick session this morning, good few questions answered, and hey, have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday, 8:30. In the meantime, bye for now.